It's the kind of absurdity that would make even Orwell blink. Imagine you're drowning, lungs burning, and just as someone throws you a life raft, they yank it back and say, "Hold on, we have to make sure there aren't any beetles living in the foam." That's Britain's housing policy in 2025. A nation gasping for homes, offered a way out by the highest court in the land, and the government decided to throw it away. The Supreme Court handed Westminster a miracle, a clean, lawful, gift wrapped opportunity to cut through years of EU red tape, strangling the construction of new homes. The judges ruled that certain environmental restrictions, rules originally designed for wetlands under EU law, no longer had to apply. It was the kind of ruling politicians spend careers praying for: clear, decisive, politically convenient. But what did the government do? It looked at the open door, smiled, and slammed it shut. Instead of seizing the chance to fix Britain's most desperate crisis, they voluntarily reinstated the same EU habitat rules we supposedly left behind with Brexit. You can't parody this. The government that shouted, "Take back control," is now choosing to control itself into paralysis. And the consequences aren't abstract, they're catastrophic. The numbers are brutal. To meet its promise of building 5 million new homes by the next election, Britain needs about 40,000 planning applications every single month. 40,000! The current average? 18,000. That's less than half. In the first half of 2025, just over 100,000 applications were filed in England. 10,000 fewer than last year, 30,000 fewer than the year before. The direction isn't progress, it's collapse. Experts like Sam Richards from Britain Remade put it plainly. The government hasn't made it easier, faster, or cheaper to build homes, not even close. Some steps in the right direction, he said, but nowhere near far enough or fast enough. Like that understatement hides a national emergency. By 2029, Britain will be short nearly 500,000 homes. 480,000 families with nowhere affordable to live. 480,000 futures stalled. And yet, while the country suffocates under sky-high rents and record homelessness, the government is more concerned with protecting beetles and reeds in wetlands the Supreme Court explicitly said didn't need extra protection. The policy defies logic, reason, and every political instinct of survival. Developers are furious. Paul Brockhurst, head of the Land Planning and Development Federation, put it politely, but his disbelief was palpable. Why, he asked, would any rational government reintroduce complexity the Supreme Court had just eliminated? Why fight against the very deregulation you've been promising for years? The Home Builders Federation joined in, practically begging ministers not to sabotage their own recovery. Even Lord Banner, a conservative peer involved in the original case, called it incomprehensible. His warning was clinical but devastating. Extending these rules will significantly expand bureaucracy, slow construction, and raise costs. When a lawyer uses a word like significantly, you know it's code for disaster. Meanwhile, the ground-level reality is worse than any press release can disguise. Britain's planning system has become a hall of mirrors, an obstacle course so slow and punitive that developers compare it to navigating a medieval labyrinth blindfolded. Every rule designed to protect nature now ends up protecting nothing but political cowardice. In London, the crisis has curdled into humiliation. The capital, the economic engine of the UK, the city meant to embody opportunity, just recorded the lowest rate of new home starts in the country. Barely 4,000 in a year. 4,000. In a city of nearly 10 million. The average young professional in London now spends over 70% of their income on rent, often for apartments that leak, mold, or crumble. Entire generations are being priced out of adulthood, and yet the government's priorities seem trapped in an alternate reality. Instead of clearing obstacles, they're celebrating new ones. Instead of cutting red tape, they're gift wrapping it. The environmental cause, once noble, has become a shield for inertia. The same ministers who thundered about backing the builders, not the blockers, are now the blockers themselves. The hypocrisy is staggering. You cannot claim to be pro-growth while voluntarily suffocating growth. You cannot promise 1.5 million homes while your planning numbers fall off a cliff. You cannot talk about unlocking Britain's potential while locking its citizens out of the housing market. And here's where the story turns from absurd to tragic. Housing isn't partisan. It's not left or right. It's life. It's security, family, and future. When homes vanish, everything collapses with them. Mobility, opportunity, the economy itself. When nurses can't afford to live near hospitals, when teachers commute 2 hours to classrooms, when small businesses can't find local workers, the entire social contract disintegrates. Britain isn't just failing to build houses, it's dismantling itself one planning delay at a time. Ask anyone under 40 what home means today, and you'll hear exhaustion. A generation earning more than their parents, yet owning nothing. A lifetime spent chasing deposits that rise faster than wages. A dream turned myth. And still, the government keeps repeating slogans instead of delivering solutions. Build back the builders, take back control, unlock growth. All of it hollow. All of it drowned beneath another round of consultations and committees. The defenders of this madness talk about balance, about protecting nature and progress. But that balance is already broken. When people are sleeping in cars, when single mothers are raising children in temporary hostels, when housing lists stretch for years, the moral equation is tipped. The Supreme Court didn't strip away environmental safeguards, it offered flexibility. The government chose fanaticism over functionality. It's not a lack of ability, it's a lack of courage. Every missed target, every half-built development, every delay isn't an accident. It's a decision. 18,000 planning applications instead of 40,000, that's a decision. Reinstating regulations nobody demanded, a decision. Watching 500,000 homes evaporate off the national map, a decision. And one day soon, when the promises are dust and the targets are missed by miles, there will be another podium, another minister, another carefully rehearsed line about challenging circumstances. But the truth will still be simple. This wasn't fate. It was a choice. Britain's housing crisis is not a natural disaster. It's man-made, it's policy-made, and it's perpetuated by leaders who would rather protect the illusion of control than deliver the homes their citizens need to survive. The Supreme Court gave them the rope. They chose to pull it back. And while the nation sinks, they're still inspecting the foam for beetles.